Hey everyone, and welcome to a video about safety regulations. My name is Garniel. What you might not know about me is that I've got thalassophobia. What's thalassophobia? It's fear of deep water. And not just deep water, but also what could possibly be inside that water. And that means because I'm God's strongest warrior, he has sent me to work as a safety inspector on an offshore oil rig in 1975 in the North Sea of Scotland. It really is shite being Scottish. Today we're inspecting Beira Delta, the offshore oil rig that is the setting for the wonderful little horror game called Still Wakes the Deep. I really enjoyed this game, but I did not enjoy what I found when it came to safety regulations. There are violations aplenty here, and with little to no valid excuses. Not that excuses help anyways. We don't want excuses here, we want solutions. There's a clear lack of encouragement from upper management to execute the tasks safely, and not just safely, but slowly. Speed is a major factor in whether or not things happen the way you want them to, and taking things slowly can often lead to the highest accuracy and precision. One of my favorite sayings of all time is slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. We've all heard the story about the tortoise and the hare, and we've definitely all heard a story about the Great Molasses Flood that happened in Boston and once killed 21 people. Still Wakes the Deep takes place in 1975 and in Scotland, and you might be saying, come on Garniel, there's no way OSHA existed in Scotland in 1975. And to that I'd say, you're right, but you're also so wrong. It isn't OSHA that watches over the United Kingdom at all, but another organization known as the HSE, or the Health and Safety at Work Act, which was royally enacted in, drumroll please, 1974. That's right, so Still Wakes the Deep makes the cutoff for being able to be scrutinized under this pretense, and believe you me, I'm going to take this tiny crumb of a tatty scone and turn it into a full meal of mince and neeps. So let's get our feet on the ground and see what we can find in this hellhole. I even have something very special for longtime viewers of this channel and these OSHA inspection videos, and that is the very first kitchen in a video game that I get to inspect. Kitchens are my bread and butter. I know all about kitchens, and I'm so excited to show you how terrible the kitchen in this game is. Let's go. Let's start with one of my favorite things to talk about in these videos, and it is signage. Safety signage is a vital part of having a safe workplace. Signs are great. They cover so many bases. They tell you so many things you need to know. Usually a masterclass in design, because they not only have to communicate something well, but they have to stick in your memory, right? Safety signs really need to plant a seed in your mind. And the safety signs in this game are very, very good. I love them. They're definitely not up to current ANSI code. They just look wonderful. And I wondered, like, wow, these are amazing. They're like, old communist art or something. So I looked into it a little bit more, and it turns out that these are real safety signs from Australia. They're from the National Safety Council of Australia, and these signs were used from 1970 to like 1980. And a crazy off chance that there's somebody out there watching this video who's like 70 years old and worked in Scotland at the time. Were these signs actually used in Scotland, like all the way from Australia, or is this just like the developers cherry picking? I would love to know. Anyways, the safety signs are great. They've got an amazing design to them. They give incredible flavor, and they really immerse you into this world. It really makes you feel like you are in the 70s. So I love them for their design. I don't love them so much for their, let's say, seriousness. Sometimes when you look at signs like this, it can kind of breach into, oh, that just looks good. It doesn't make you think about the dangers that are being communicated through the sign. All you see is the neat design, right? It's the standardization that helps so much with modern signage. The old way is great, but the new way is much better and much easier. But if I had to choose, I think I would go with these cool artistic signs. I mean, there's so much value to them, and they speak to me. I don't know. You tell me what you think about safety signs. Do you think safety signs should be beautiful and cohesive, or should they be succinct and direct? I don't know. You tell me. My biggest issue with this entire rig is cleanliness. And I don't mean cleanliness of the workers, I just mean that there's just tat everywhere. It's crazy to me how much crap is just left all over the place. People are leaving tools in the middle of hallways. People are leaving ladders leaning up against a wall instead of securely put away in a closet. And it goes so much more than just tools being left on the ground. There's messes of pallets all over the deck. The actual deck of this oil rig is in complete and utter shambles. Nothing is securely put away. So many things are just laying on their side. There's barrels that are literally just laying on their side. These fucking barrels could roll all the way to Perth if they wanted to. It's just insane how cluttered and dangerously messy this place is, including the fact that nobody seems to have any training when it comes to cordoning off a repair site. Things are being worked on and fixed all over this place, and I only found one area, the actual drill itself, that was cordoned off while being worked on. Anything else, like this person here repairing something up in the ceiling, they're blocking off the entire hallway. That just doesn't make any sense. Put the ladder to the side. You can still work on the ceiling and let people scoot by. Better yet, cordon it off. Create a little detour so that somebody knows, hey, this pathway is obstructed. You better find another place to go in case of an emergency. There's just like no forethought. It really just portends the destruction that is about to occur. Maybe if some of this stuff was kept a little cleaner, the eldritch horror breaking out of the sea probably wouldn't have caused so many deaths. I don't know. None of these barrels are on pallets. There's unlabeled canisters just lying about. Look at this hand cart. Look at this cart, you guys. It's got 2 barrels laying on their side on this cart. The cart has no raised edges to even keep the barrels in place. As soon as you pull this thing, the barrels are going to roll right off. Who thought this was a good idea? There's a lack of training here. There's a lack of commitment, and there's too much complacency. Comes from the top down, right? Even the foreman of this rig is insane. He wants everything done as fast as possible. He doesn't give a shit about safety. That kind of thinking always rolls downhill. So if you've got a manager who's fucking about with safety, I suggest that you get out of that place. If I showed up here in 1975 and my manager was telling me to forget about safety protocol, man, I would have turned right around, gotten right back on that helicopter, and gone right back to Inverness or wherever the hell I came from. Look, guys, I know we've all done this, but come on, don't just go sit on a chair. Don't sit on the pallets. Don't fucking sit on a pallet and smoke a cigarette. There shouldn't even be bare pallets on the deck anyways. They should be... I mean, I guess I can't really blame you when there's a giant oasis miasma of bullshit pallets right over... Look at this fucking pile of pallets, you guys. I feel like I'm at a bonfire trying to get my first kiss, not on a professional ass oil rig in the middle of the ocean. I gotta move on to something else because this deck is driving me nuts. All right, let's talk about how bad the wire routing is in this fucking place.
Wire.
Anytime there's something wired up here, they just kind of let the wires run all over the ground. And it's like, come on, you guys, just have an actual electrician route these cables. This stuff looks pretty permanent. There's no reason to have these wires all over the ground just begging for somebody to trip on them. Get this shit sorted. Sort your fucking life out, mate. It's a tripping hazard, and it's like, it's so common too. I guarantee you that if you go to the place that you work at, you will find a wire that's plugged into something that's in a stupid spot that you can probably trip on. And it's up to you whether or not you send your manager a link to a wire cover on Amazon. They cost like $5. Look at this fucking monstrosity. I mean, you only get to come here in this game after the catastrophe, but this didn't happen because of the catastrophe. Look at this. This is a shipping container set up on scaffolding as some kind of walkway. You gotta be fucking yanking my chain, dawg. This is like a clubhouse. This is like a secret entrance to the place where all the kids hang out in Fallout 3. This is... I gotta stop. I can't focus on this kind of stuff. I gotta focus on things that would actually happen in the real world. This would never occur. Nobody would ever be this stupid, right? This game's got me fucked up, dude. There's really good railings in this place. This place has actually immaculate railings. I love all of the railings, and there's toe boards on all the railings, which is super cool. Toe boards are these little raised things on the edge of the platform that like keeps tools from falling off and stuff like that. Keeps you from slipping off too. I mean, that's kind of why they call them toe boards. Yeah, the railings are really nice in this game. And also like, there's a lot of warnings to like use the handrails and stuff. And even on staircases that have like 2 steps, they still put handrails. And that's incredible. You do not see that in very many video games. You mostly never see handrails on small staircases in video games, but the place is still a fucking mess. It would appear that there is some semblance of lockout tagout procedures in this place too, which is cool. There's a checkout list here for the key. even though I completely ignored it and just took this key and buggered off. Still, it's nice to see that there is a secure key checkout list here. There are plenty of PPE reminders. PPE stands for personal protective equipment. Stuff like helmets, gloves, safety glasses, safety goggles, breathing apparatuses, fall arrest systems, stuff like that. There's tons of reminders about PPE all around this place, and I love seeing that. And upon testing, the helmets can really withstand a blow. And that's what you want to see. All of the intake and exhaust fans also have covers on them, which not only provides the ominous lighting, but helps you from, jamming a mop handle up in these fans or something. Every fan should have a cover like this. There should never be exposed spinning blades. We also have ladder cages. Not on every ladder, but on most of the ladders there are ladder cages, which are great, especially for this time and place, which is the mid-70s. Nowadays, fall arrest systems are way more standardized, and they're a lot better. Ladder cages can kind of provide a false sense of security and can actually be dangerous in their own right. Yep, everything here hey, hold on. That fire extinguisher needs a sign. All these fire extinguishers have signs. In fact, that's the only one I've seen so far that doesn't have a sign. And some of them even have instructions on how to use the fire extinguishers. Super cool. Not only that, you actually get to use the fire extinguishers in this game, and it was probably my favorite part of this entire video game. Is there a firefighting game? Because I would love that. Let me know down in the comments if there's goddamn fire. I don't want power washing simulator. I want firefighting simulator. Let me know. We have a big ass crane here, and its load is just suspended, which I'm sure most of you know how it feels to have a suspended load. If this ever failed, like if the crane fails and that shipping container drops, holy Moses. This should never happen. I mean, have you ever seen a crane with just the shipping container attached to it? Like, whenever you see a crane when you're driving through the city, no, it's totally bad. This is very bad practice. There are a ton of confined spaces in this game. I love a confined space. None of them are labeled, though. And I like to see confined spaces labeled. They should be labeled. It's standard procedure that they are labeled. They require certification and authorization to even enter. So security on these confined spaces is lacking, and you actually use them constantly to escape your manager in this game, which is surprisingly realistic. I think my favorite detail in this entire game is this. It's a windsock. It's a windsock, you guys. The pioneers used to drive these things for miles, baby. It's a windsock. Okay, so you look at a windsock and I know, wow, that's weird. What is it for? It's so you can land the helicopter properly. Well, yeah, it is for that, but it's also for something way more important on this oil rig. Here's footage of a windsock at a local cheese factory. Now, why does a cheese factory need a windsock? Because I don't think they have a helipad. To understand why a cheese factory needs a windsock, we need to go inside. Deep inside, right into the refrigerators. Industrial fridges and freezers are commonly cooled with refrigerant chemicals known as HFCs, hydrofluorocarbons, and sometimes even ammonia. In the event of a leak of these chemicals, the facility would need to be evacuated immediately, but what if the chemical leak is really bad and it leaks outside and into the atmosphere? In that case, the wind would be carrying all those toxic chemicals in whatever direction the wind is blowing. And what if everyone who just evacuated is downwind of these dangerous chemicals? It would render the evacuation pointless and cause a ton of personal damage. Thus, the need for a windsock. During evacuation, the person in charge can check the windsock for wind direction and guide everyone to a safe location out of the wind's direction. And that's just for a cheese factory. They're even more important for an offshore oil rig like this because drilling for oil constantly releases a ton of dangerous gases. And that's what this thing is for. This is called a boom flare. This thing is designed specifically to safely burn those uncollectible gases that are released while drilling a safe distance away from the platform. This basically keeps the dangerous methanes and hydrogen sulfide what have yous like that from being released into the air, and keeps the entire thing from exploding in certain cases. It's easy to see how even a minor failure in any capacity on an oil rig could require needing to quickly know the wind direction. I just love these things. They have a funny name. They look funny. They remind me of the Japanese carp flags, and they serve a purpose, an incredibly important but silent purpose. And I love stuff like that. I'm really glad to see one in a modern video game. I think the only other time I've seen one was in Pilot Wings on the N64.
I seen you sparring with a gull. Bad luck to kill a seal.
Okay, let's talk about the kitchen. Look, there's a lot wrong in this kitchen, but it's a video game kitchen, and as far as video game kitchens go, it's one of the best I've ever seen when it comes to details and overall cleanliness. It's better than Overwatch kitchens, I'll give it that. Don't get me started on Overwatch kitchens because they're some of the most immersion-breaking things I've ever seen in a video game. As a matter of fact, I'd like to look at more kitchens in video games, but I can't really think of any that exist. So if you know of any video game kitchens that you want me to check out, please let me know. Okay, so the shelves are clean, they're well kept, but they're not organized properly. And you can see here that there's these giant containers that have no labels on them. Everything needs to be labeled and everything needs to be dated, especially if it's prepped. These things aren't prepped, so they don't really need to be dated. If they're in a can or a container, they don't look opened. But like these unlabeled jars, I mean, this could be thermite for all I know. These dishwashers right here make no sense for their placement. They're not near the other sinks at all, which just doesn't make any sense. There shouldn't be two of them right next to each other like this, because you need to open them on one side, insert the dishes, and then pull them out of the other side. So it just doesn't make any sense the way that this is set up. We got boxes directly on the ground. That's bad. They should be on a pallet or on a shelf, preferably a plastic pallet. The stovetops and grill tops look immaculate, and so do the deep fryers. I'm incredibly upset about these shelves right next to the deep fryers that just have chemicals in them. Now this might be oil, but I don't think that it's oil. I think they're just Abraxo cleaners. These little guys are just begging to jump into that deep fryer and cause an explosion. These hood vents are in really nice shape. They look really clean, but am I crazy, or do these feel like a little anachronistic for 1975? I don't know. I tried researching it and I couldn't figure out when these things were invented. Either way, they're top notch. Wooden cutting blocks, fine for home, bad for commercial grade. Wooden cutting boards are just like a bacteria magnet. It's better to have color-coded plastic ones, if anything. They don't have to be color-coded, but color coding does help. You can see that this guy's knife technique is pretty bad. He's just sort of chopping away at this ham. He's not really doing the claw technique. I don't like how he's got a dirty dishcloth on his shoulder. I know that looks cool. I know everybody watched the Bear and thought it looked really awesome. Not sanitary at all. Kicks don't look too non-slip either. There's no sneeze guard on the other side of this buffet. And because I don't know if this is actually like a serve yourself buffet or if the cook is supposed to be serving you. The cook is probably supposed to be serving you, and it ought to have a sneeze guard. The sink is inadequate. It's only got 2 basins. It should have 3 basins. You need to have a rinsing bay, you need to have a washing bay, and you need to have a sanitizer bay. There's also this bad organization here again because you've got chemicals up on top of the dishware. I mean, this stuff could leak down at any moment, drip into these cups, and then all of a sudden you're serving bleach to the people who work here. That's ridiculous. Also, these wooden blocks for knives, terrible, terrible. Like, it's just as bad as the wooden cutting boards, but all enclosed, so you have no idea what's going on in those wood blocks that these knives are holding. They also are not very good for your knives. What you really want to use is like a wall-mounted magnet strip and not an open magnet strip. They make these covered ones that work just like these wood blocks do, but you can see the knives, you can sanitize the whole thing really easily. The walk-in cooler is also suffering a little bit. These things in these prep containers definitely need to be covered with saran wrap, and they need to be labeled and dated. Even though I can tell they're fucking blinds, I can't really make out what's in these stainless steel bowls, so let's get some labels. And there is a bit of disarray in this cooler. You can see it's just kind of messy, and I don't know, it could be cleaned up a little bit. I feel like there's also no regard for allergen separation in this kitchen. I mean, we got fish right next to the corned beef, and it's just like, I mean, they're storing bleach like right above all the prep space and like next to the deep fryers, so, you know, I mean, my expectations weren't that high anyways. All right, let me go find a pallet. I gotta take a smoke break. Okay, everybody, thanks for watching this video. I have a bunch of other OSHA inspection videos, so go check those out because YouTube likes it a lot when you stay on YouTube, and then YouTube also likes me a lot if you stay on YouTube and watch more of my videos and not just other videos. So check those out. Do me a huge favor. Have a great summer. Be nice to yourself. Be nice to other people. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.